The Kuruba tribe is a wild Brazilian tribe discovered recently, in 1996. Among all the Aborigines, the Kuruba stand out for their extreme aggressiveness. For the habit of constantly carrying a combat baton, which they masterfully own, these guys are called with the bearers of heads. They often attack neighbors, and women take part in such raids on an equal basis with men. Obviously, these are the descendants of the legendary Amazons. A distinctive feature of the Kuruba from the neighboring Aborigines is a peculiar hairstyle, bangs in front and a short-cropped nape. Tattoos, drawings on the body are not practiced. They are mainly engaged in hunting monkeys, sloths and birds, as well as fishing and farming. The tribe has full equality of all members, both women and men. All emerging issues are solved together. Families are polygamous, there are polygamies. The traditional dwelling of the Kuruba Indians is a long structure made of palm leaves with several exits. Up to 100 tribesmen can live in it at the same time. Internal partitions divide the space of the house into several separate rooms. It looks like a communal apartment with 100 neighbors. Look further and you will find out which cult fans believe that Western goods were created by ancestral spirits for their tribe. The Mak Ken tribe in the west coast provinces of Thailand lives a very small but fascinating people, the Mak Ken. Now it consists of only 2,000 or 3,000 people, sharply different from the indigenous population of Thailand. Makan's skin is slightly darker, and her hair is sometimes reddish. Their language is far from Thai, and their ancient pagan faith is from Buddhism. In the 21st century, the Makans do not abandon the tradition of nomadic life, so they and several other ethnic groups are called sea gypsies. The main occupation of Orangclout is also called Makan, fishing with the use of various nets, traps, barriers, fishing rods. They also extract trapango, oysters, pearls, and tortoiseshell shells. Sticking to the shore, the Makans are engaged in gathering, hunting birds and small animals. Salt is evaporated from seawater. Mango tree is harvested for firewood to obtain tanning agents. Chickens, dogs, and cats are kept in boats. Of the crafts, the most developed are weaving, making gear and building boats. Commodity-money relations are becoming increasingly important in their lives. Makans sell fishing and marine products, buy rice, vegetables and other products, as well as clothing and household items. Little is known about the Suri tribe from Ethiopia. This closed community has almost no contact with the outside world and leads a primitive lifestyle. Traditionally, Suri women and men pay a lot of attention to their appearance. Scarring, body decoration with ornaments and floral herbal ekibans are held in high esteem by the tribe. It all looks extravagant and outlandish for us. Suri, like many other Ethiopian peoples, consider the stretched lower lip, into which a clay disc is inserted, to be the most attractive for women. To do this, women knock out 2 front teeth and make a puncture in the lip, gradually stretching the resulting loop. It is believed that the larger the diameter of the disc, the more cows the father of the beauty will get, giving her in marriage. Cows are especially valued in the tribe because they are a source of milk and blood. On average, well-to-do families own 30 to 40 cows, and in order to marry, you need to give at least 60 heads of cattle to the chosen family. The Mursi tribe is a people living in southwestern Ethiopia and southeastern South Sudan. A rather small and warlike tribe. Surprisingly, Morsi, unlike many other tribes of the River Valley, even women carry Kalashnikov assault rifles. This is a weighty argument in favor of the thesis that the Mursi are the most aggressive tribe in Africa that still exists. At the same time, the Mursi are very friendly towards tourists, since they are the only source of income for the tribe. Now about 6,000 Mursi live in the Mega National Park in southwestern Ethiopia, divided into 5 tribes, sometimes fighting with each other, sometimes observing armed neutrality. The terrain is quite inaccessible and fraught with many dangers. That is why the Mercy managed to repel all attempts to conquer them. Neither the local kings nor the Arabs succeeded, and those at one time captured almost all of Ethiopia nor the Portuguese. Of course, the Morsi suffered heavy losses, and their tribal numbers decreased tenfold, but this is the price of sovereignty. Batagi. The heart of the Batagi territory is the village of Berstejai in Indonesia, Lake Toba and the surrounding area. The mysteries of this people begin already at the level of genetics. Scientists have found out that their closest relatives are the tribes of northern Myanmar. It's almost in the Himalayas. The Batak nomads branched off from them in the Neolithic and have lived here in the mountains ever since, almost in complete isolation. At the end of the 18th century, British researchers literally stumbled upon the Bataks and were shocked by what they saw. In the attack, they built large buildings, had a developed written language, a high level of handicraft production, which did not prevent them from actively engaging in cannibalism. But now the attack is almost entirely Protestants. The inhabitants of this tribe are recluses, and they could not be detected for a long time, because they built villages far away in the forests, high in the mountains, usually behind a gorge, over which they forgot to throw a bridge. And in the attack, he still practices a lot of scary and wild customs, and not for tourists, as it usually happens in Asia, but for himself. The traditional architecture of the Bataks is also slightly sinister. Skulls are sure to hang on high roofs. Bataks are former animists, their totem is a water buffalo, and every roof is still decorated with a head with horns. The Okansu tribe in the state of Rondônia in western Brazil are the last 4 surviving members of the Okansu tribe. They continue to exist thanks to game living in a small patch of rainforest under human control. This is the last thing they have left, since the endless jungles that once surrounded the Indians are now being massively mastered by man. Rainforests are being cut down to make way for cattle ranches. No outsider has ever mastered the Okansu language. The government managed to extend protective measures to their lands, so the Aun can now feel relatively protected from the owner of the Francas located in the neighborhood. The active invasion of their lands began in the 1970s, when the highway was approximately built. Cargo cult is also the religion of airplane worshippers or the cult of heavenly gifts, a term used to refer to a group of religious movements in Melanesia. Cargo cults believe that Western goods are created by the spirits of ancestors and are intended for the Melanesian people. It is believed that white people dishonestly gained control of these items. Cargo cults perform rituals similar to the actions of white people in order to increase their items. Classic cargo cults were common during the Second World War and after it. Then a huge amount of cargo was landed on the islands during the Pacific Campaign against the Japanese Empire, which made fundamental changes in the life of the islanders. At the end of the war, the air bases were abandoned, and the cargo no longer stayed. In order to receive goods and see parachutes falling, planes arriving or ships arriving, the islanders imitated the actions of soldiers, sailors and pilots. They made headphones out of coconut halves and put them to their ears while in control towers built of wood. Adherents of the cult believed that foreigners had a special connection with their ancestors, who were the only beings that could produce such wealth. As you understand, our planet is inhabited by a huge number of different tribes.